But yeah, it's interesting.
So what's your experience as an immigrant child?
As an immigrant child, I would say growing up, because I was thinking about this earlier, I used to be embarrassed. Embarrassed in the sense of with little things. Like, for example, my mum's name is Nana, but I didn't like saying that what my mum's name was, because you know how some British kids call their grandma Nana? I used to be like, oh, they're gonna like. I always had this thing in my head that if I ever told my friends at school, like mainly in primary school, this is my mum's name, they're gonna be like, what, is your mum a grandma? I don't know why, I just used to have that thing. I remember in year 7 in cooking, I think it was like the first week or something, the teacher made us write down like the food that we ate like the night before. I don't know what I must have had fufu and pondo or fumba or whatever. I wrote down I had pasta. So I would say growing up there was like that type of thing. Like I was but I was embarrassed about certain elements of being Congolese because I feel like back then when we were growing up, being, you know how Afrobeats and African and everything is very embraced and liked now. Back then it wasn't that. So it was just like, for me, like you see white people on TikTok eating like, what is it, egusi and okra and fufu and everything. Back then, if you came to school with that stuff, they'd be like, what's that?
Yeah,
how did you make it? Do you eat it with your hands? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like for me, like being an immigrant child, I was mainly just embarrassed about certain Congolese stuff because like being African just wasn't cool.
And you know what's so funny? I was complete opposite. So I was the type of person that would want to prove that Africans were cool. I don't know if you remember, like everyone, like was it called on school non-uniform day?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I would always wear African clothes. Like I literally made the conscious effort to wear African clothes just to prove a point. Yeah. So when people laugh at Africans, because the period that we're talking about was a period where heavily was the thing where it was like Africans against Jamaicans. And if you wasn't Jamaican, you wasn't cool. So people that were Africans... You would even
have African people say, I'm Jamaican.
Literally, putting on the... oh my days. Putting on the passport accent to try and fit in. And some of them were Zimbabwe... you people. Anyways, putting on the... And it really used to make me feel like... I didn't understand it. I was like, why are people not proud of... And maybe it's because I'm Nigerian, but like I'm proper proud of being like where I'm from. So I didn't get why people would want to be somewhere like... It's amazing to be Jamaican, but if you're not Jamaican, why would you want to claim...
Yeah, why would you beg off it,
that you're Jamaican? Why would you want to claim where you're actually from? To me, I found that, to me, that was the issue. So I went through a phase where I would always wear African clothes. Always. Literally, always. Like, everywhere. Anything that I had to go to, wear it. That's why I even started off my... So my mom had a shop and I made her call the shop African Swag because I wanted to be like, guys, you're going to hear about Africans until you're tired. So I was always like talking about it. I was very like...
you were very vocal about it.
Yeah, like I carried it on like it was a thing. If you look at all my pictures, even prom.
Even prom.
Even prom, I wore African dress.
We'll put a picture up for you guys watching. We'll put a picture
Yeah,
up.
I've got loads of pictures, like even prom. So it's like... this thing about being my identity of being African was the thing I held onto it so much because I'm like, this is me. It doesn't make sense for me to throw this side of me or feel embarrassed of it. So when people used to make certain comments like, I remember in school, some girls would be like, "Oh, do you have HIV/AIDS in Africa? Do you all walk around with no shoes?" And I'll be like, "No." I didn't get it. I'm like, what do you mean? No, we didn't. Like,
do you have HIV in your country?
But then it was just me fighting myself. Like, nobody was backing me.
No, that's
all
true.
The Africans were quiet, including Genevieve. And I understand it because it's like, fair enough. No one wants to be a target. Fair enough. Like, that's why I never took it like, I never made it a personal thing. It was more like, I'm carrying on this battle, but I'm going to keep fighting. Like, I never wanted anyone to be like, oh, let me help Favour, let me defend.
Yeah.
Because I understood it. I knew that people were embarrassed of it. And I'm like, it is what it is. I'm not. So I can stand for myself. I'm like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, literally. But yeah, like, so that phase of like being proudly African, I was proud, man. I was very proud.
She was very proud.
And now people are now, it's just so funny.
Listen, I have seen some people from school that were so,
Then, when I went to uni, that was when I realized being African was cool. I'm seeing people that are Jamaican from different islands, Jamaican like Barbados, trying to do like azonto. Oh, I can. They say to you, oh, you know, I can azonto. You know, and you're thinking,
you can azonto.
Okay, and they actually could, you know, but it's like the fact that they were proud to tell you that they could do it. It's like,
look at me.
I'm not used to this.
And
even whilst in school, even though I was going through that stage of like people always cussing Africans especially in my school, because my mum had a shop. We had a lot of Jamaican.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
We had a lot of Jamaican clients, elderly clients. I would say to us, being African is the best, you know. That's where our motherland is. That's where we're from. And I'm hearing this, and I'm hearing in school HIV/AIDS. It's like I was getting contrasting
opinions. They weren't educated.
So like people in the shops were our biggest clients were Jamaicans at the African shop. That they were buying African clothes, and I'm here, and they really wanted to be so involved in the culture. Whereas in school, the girls were cussing us out, and I'll be like, what is this? Then I sort of came to the conclusion myself that it is a thing of ignorance, because it clearly they don't hate being African. They just feel like, because of what they've seen in media of Africans looking less, they're always seen give £1 to that child. That same child I've been asking for £1, you know,
for 10 years.
The same child.
I'm telling you, Tolulope is fine.
Every year, £1. Child hasn't grown. The child is still a child. But anyways,
with the B in the eye.
With the B in the eye. Or the flies.
The flies. Leave us. I don't think they do them anymore, you know.
I'm guessing people complain. It's getting ridiculous, man. Every day the same child has not grown.
If you can give
£1,
favour,
you can fetch 10 water in the whole.
They can get clean water across the village, and then you see them celebrating with water.
Anyway, so that's what they see. That's what they're seeing. So it's like, I was like, fair enough. If I can't really blame you completely, even though there's ways to say, give your opinions. You don't have to be horrible about it. But I couldn't completely blame you, because I'm like, you don't know any better.
It's ignorance, and it's also superiority,
of course,
of being like the better blacks,
of course,
because
stupid.
Yeah, because I feel
it is. It just irritates me. Okay. I was like, because can you hear that? The better blacks.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, right, and this isn't a personal attack on anyone, but obviously out of all the black people that you could think of, Jamaicans were the first ones to come here, like, you know, the Windrush era. They came here, they got their job. I'm not too educated on the subject, so I'm not going to talk too much on it, but they settled here way before any Nigerians and Ghanaians and Zims came over.
I don't know if that's true, but yeah. I'm not sure that's
what I'm saying though. But in terms of like from the Windrush era, like obviously like I'm sure Africans came over before, but like really settling into like really settling into the country and also assimilating to the culture, because it's like you can have, you know, a black person whatever, but because they're British and they were born here and they've got the passport, whereas you have this child from Ghana, they're still waiting on their passport. It was that kind of like superiority thing. I don't know if you guys can check it out on Netflix. It's called Afrobeats. Basically how Afrobeats originated, and it was very interesting to see that there was a period in time where all that other people knew about black music was reggae. So there was people didn't even know African music existed. Yeah, Africans knew African music existed, but everyone else that saw black people, all they knew of us as like that represented us in terms of music was reggae. Yeah.
And